Okay.
All right, call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Dennis McInerney Slater, or Bonnie McInerney Slater, present. Harold Bain, absent. Dennis Szymanski,
Here.
Oh, good, Dennis.
Joanne Shirkey. Here. Brian Treppa,
Here.
Deborah Addy.
Here.
We have 5.
Okay, perfect. Approval or amendments to the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the minutes of August 19th, 2020 meeting.
I make that motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
whoever's-
So Dennis is going to make the motion. Who's going to approve it?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the minutes of, August 19th, 2020 and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Zoning Board of Appeals preface. The Clay Township Zoning Board of Appeals, or ZBA, primarily addresses practical difficulty based on lot size, location, shape, or contour, and/or location of existing buildings. We are guided by section 27.05 of ordinance number 126. There are 5 members on the ZBA, all of whom are present tonight. At least 3 members must vote affirmatively for a motion to grant a variance. 3 members constitute a quorum. Each appeal before the ZBA will have a public hearing, at which time the applicant will present his or her case, and any public comment regarding that issue will follow. During this time, members of the board may ask questions of clarification. If a particular point gets belabored, the chairperson has the right to limit comments. When the public hearing is closed, the board will move on to deliberation of the particular variance request. If the applicant should disagree with the board's decision, he or she has the right to take it to circuit court within 30 days of the decision. When your appeal hearing is concluded, you're welcome to leave or stay as you wish. Okay.
Brian,
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that Harold came in.
Okay. So that means
Am I an alternate?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to open up new business, and we have ZBA 2020-011 property owner applicant at 4803 Point Trumbull. Usually they have the names on this one. He's here, right?
Correct, Steve Schaefer.
All right, just state your name and your address, please, Steve. And then
My name is Stephen Schaefer. My address is 4803 Point Trumbull, Clay Township, 48001.
okay, and state why you're in front of us.
I'm looking for a variance to build a replacement garage for an existing garage that's already in place. It's a detached garage off of M29 from the house. I'm looking to build a little bit larger garage, staying on the same lot line. Right now, I believe in my package I had a drawing that showed it was approximately 3 feet. I'm going to have that verified that it is 3 feet. But I was looking for a variance to keep it at 3 feet from the lot line, because apparently the current setback requirement is 5 feet.
Okay. That's not what I'm reading, though. Are you guys reading the same?
I read the same thing.
I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I went to Gary, and I was a little confused going through this with him because section 3.01 covers accessory buildings, and the applicable part of that would be number 4. No detached accessory building shall be located closer than 3 feet to any side or rear lot lines. So I'm not quite sure where the 5 feet came from, but he recommended I go to the ZBA because he was reading somewhere that it was supposed to be 5 feet. I mean, that's about all I can say. So I followed his direction, and applied.
Yeah, I was having the same issue about that as well, reading on that. So it's like, I thought it was always 3 foot. So
I'm sorry, and if I may, I did
Yeah.
professionally ask Gary just if he could show me where 5 feet was, so that I could put it on my application what I'm actually applying for.
I think
And
that
nowhere in
just,
3.01 is there 5 feet.
yeah, I think it was just a confusion. I had to wait till I got all my information in our new updated books, just to make sure that none of that changed. But it has not changed. You know, I'm reading it as it is still 3 foot for detached, not attached.
Right.
Right.
Or he might be reading attached somewhere different, which is a 5 foot requirement. But as far as I'm concerned, that 3-1 page, he's 100% correct with that number 4. It states right there that we can have 3 feet. I don't, you know, I just,
I agree with you, Brian. That's exactly what it says.
Yeah,
3 feet.
I went and got from Cindy all the new. I updated my entire book, and I'm looking at it right now, and that's why I didn't know why he was here, because I think
Sorry.
somehow this has just got misinterpreted. You know.
yeah, so I don't know what we can do, Steve, with you know, with you on that, but I don't believe, you know, if that's the only variance that you're here for, I don't believe that you should have came in front of us.
I think that we should table it for right now pending him going back to the building official, and I think we should let the building official know that, you know,
Well,
we read the ordinance and
But he doesn't.
we don't.
I would
think-
say that may say that we approve this, being that it says right there in number 4, so that we don't delay this and this gets brought back up next.
Yeah, we don't want it to come back to him.
Yeah. So I would say that I would make the motion that is somehow it was misinterpreted on the building department's whatever. But reading in 3.01 number 4, no detached accessory building shall be located closer than 3 feet to any side or rear lot line, which he is adhering to. So I would make the motion that we approve it just on the basis that it was just misread or misinterpreted.
I guess
I
I
would
would
second
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve and a second. Any other discussion? I don't think there should be. Let's take a roll call, please.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Dennis Szymanski,
Yes.
Harold Bain,
Yes.
Bonnie McInerney Slater, yes. Brian Treppa.
Yes.
Right, give me 1 second.
So hopefully that Gary will go back and look at it and see it.
Yeah, because I just built a pole barn that was 3 feet off the property line. So, I mean, I went by that old code, and yeah, I mean, the last house I built was 7 feet off the property line because you got to have a total of 15. So,
But the other side has to have at least 10.
right.
Yes, 5 and 10.
5 and 10.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, 5 and 10.
And you also, every 2 feet that you come off the property line, you're
Yes, you
allowed to
do.
put an extra foot.
That's right.
I'd like to do that, but I don't have the room on my lot. I got to stay right at the 15
Yeah, it's a
feet.
tight lot, yeah.
No, I just appreciate you guys' help. I didn't want to rock any boats or anything. That's why I proceeded to do what Gary asked me to do. What do I do for a
Appreciate
path
you being-
forward?
Say it one more time, I'm sorry.
What do I do for a path forward? Do I go back to Gary now and start the process of getting plans approved, or do you go to him first and tell him there was
No, he'll have this, for, on Monday.
Okay.
He'll have the meeting notes, so if you want to, make him, a meeting with him on Monday, or call
Yeah,
Cindy first thing in the morning and set something up, so.
Yeah, I got time. I'm out of town next week, so that way I kind of figured I have a little bit of a buffer here. So I just want to make sure we were all good.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
all right, thanks.
Good day.
Am I clear?
Yep, you're good.
now?
Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
I made wrong on that meeting. Probably should open up public comment.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Is there anyone here going to discuss this case at 4803 Point Trumbull? All right, we're going to close public comment. Okay, and I still think you needed to go in front of Gary, and I think this needed to not come in front of us. I think it was just a misinterpretation on Gary, but no problem.
Yeah, no worries. I want to make sure I stay, proper with what I'm being.
Yeah,
recommended.
yep, definitely.
Didn't throw me behind too much. I'm still waiting for the bank anyway.
There you go.
All right, have a good night.
All right, thank you.
a lot, everybody.
All right, so we're gonna go to the next one. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, applicant
DBA.
is not online, just so you know.
Not, okay. So ZBA 2020-012 or 12, the owner applicant at 7903 Colony Drive. Is anyone here to represent them? Okay. Is there anyone here that wants to talk about Colony Drive?
I would like to say something about
Hang
this.
on, just I'm trying to get public.
Oh,
Anyone in the public?
okay.
Anyone going to respond to this? All right, we're going to close public, but hopefully the applicant comes online. Okay, go ahead, Joanne.
I went down there to see where this piece of property was. And our water department was down there. And there was a construction going on. It was just like a nightmare down on that curve. If you got your plans there, you see the curve.
That's where that new boathouse is being built.
Right.
That's a new house and a boathouse.
But the addresses are not where they're supposed to be. I
Well,
asked,
Cindy sent out an email
Well, let me
Did you get that
finish.
email?
Dennis, let me finish, please. I asked John DeBoyer, where is, what is it, 73,
Yeah, it's 79.
79?
Mhm.
Couldn't find it, could never find the address. There was nothing there to show me. He says, I think it's over there by that trailer. And so I went over there and looked, and there's a vacant lot there. But it was very difficult for me to differentiate because of the way the lot where they want to put the boat well is like kitty corner from the
It
other.
is.
Yes.
Correct.
Did you notice, Joanne, at the end of the street, it's the same way? When you get to the
Yes.
cul-de-sac, they're all kind of,
They're
Yeah.
all cattywampus over there.
yeah.
Did you, Joanne, did you get the email from Cindy clarifying the two pieces of property?
Well, she sent a picture, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, even on the prints that were provided to us, it shows that it's a couple lots away before the curve. So yeah, I mean, when I went over there, I didn't have an issue. But I don't know. I mean, I thought we just had the similar thing here just last month about the same exact thing.
Yes, we did.
We did. I'm
Yep.
kind of hoping that the planning can change something real quick because we've been making a lot of choices and changes to the ordinance on these boathouses. I'm kind of hoping that they can change this height through this colony. I mean, obviously colony is a special area, but I don't know if we're going to.
Well, we left that open for the decision to be made, like each one, because every place is different. You got Point Trumbull, you've got the colony, then you've got all this over here on the other side of M29. Every one of them is different. So it's basically going to be left up to us to figure out if we want to allow the height difference. Because this height goes into a commercial. If you look at the way the ordinance is written, this is a commercial height door.
I guess I would agree that the planning commission really needs to look at the different areas and zone appropriately for that. I don't think we should spend, forever doing this because that's not really our place we're supposed to interpret and grant variances. This is almost like we're creating zoning.
I agree with you, Bonnie. That's
I-
job is to okay.
There
or
was a
not.
lot of discussion on this. There was like 6 months worth of discussion on this. And this is where they decided to leave it.
I just think we're
In
going
our
to have a
lab.
hard, Harold, I think we're going to have a hard time ever denying anything on colony.
I know,
everything
because of the way it is.
So
I understand that totally. And the planning commission understands that totally. That's why it's supposed to go case by case.
Well, and I don't like that because that
Right.
puts us in a bad position And our job, I mean, technically speaking, we should not grant this variance if we're looking at it from a true legal standpoint of looking at the criteria. Wanting
Sure.
a taller door is not a hardship,
Mhm.
but we've been granting them, so now we almost have no choice but to. But I would hope that the planning commission would amend the ordinance to reflect that.
Well, when the next meeting comes up, I'll bring this one particularly up to them, and we'll have a discussion about this.
Well, you know, I'm looking at last month's building specs and this one here, and the building part of it is still, this is still shorter than the other one, and you guys are talking about a door for the boat well. That has no bearing here. I mean, they're talking about the overall height of the building, but, and I'm looking at the last month's plans and this month's plans from what we just did. This is shorter than the other building. So you know, it's, I don't know.
Well, and I guess I'm not arguing that, Dennis. I would argue that even last month, we shouldn't have granted it necessarily because it doesn't meet the criteria. But given the past history of what we've done with boathouses, that's why we passed
Well,
it.
again, like Brian was saying, is that it's a special deal over there on Colony and Anchor Bay Drive, you know, and the bird lanes there, and you know, Island Lake and Stark. They're all just unique little spots there. So, you know, again,
Hang on, Dennis, but I think Colony is totally different than the other, you know.
well, yeah, no. Do I know? I get you 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
all those, you have $1 million homes, you have these beautiful, magnificent boathouses, and then they own all those properties behind them. Yeah, so we have set a precedent in approving these just because of we're not hearing or changing the atmosphere of of that road or that environment. So,
So really, what do you want? Do you want an ordinance written for each area?
well, you
No,
know
but
what?
I don't think the people from Colony would need to come in here as long as they're building within the means of the other
They already have their own
boathouses
little.
and structures.
They already
that-
have their own little subdivision. They only have their own little
Their
thing.
association.
So yeah, I mean, why should we be interfering with their own as a little association?
I would say that an ordinance could be written that if there are association guidelines with regard to boathouses that have been, I mean, they have to ultimately be approved by the township to begin with, that those trump an ordinance.
They usually do.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
mean.
what I'm saying. It needs to be written in the ordinance that way.
Well,
That way they're
then
not
why doesn't somebody bring that up?
You just
They
did.
got an HOA over there. Why don't they bring that up? Why didn't somebody from that area say, hey, look, maybe you should put this in the ordinance? Because when you write the ordinance, it's a broad ordinance for the whole township.
Well,
Right.
what was brought up last month is that was written.
Somebody's
in the
coming
deed.
in.
It was written into the deed that they could do all these
Yep.
things.
That's
And
right.
the ordinance is already trying to over trump that. So it's already written into the deed of the properties. So,
And I get that. If it's deeded,
Well-
then it's there.
Right.
oh, yeah, there you go. It's deeded in
I have
all
a
those
question. If
properties
they
over
were
there.
approved by the association, I didn't see anything in this package that
Yeah,
said
it was in the
approved.
packet. If we could hold on 1 second, I see a Carol Sampson has joined us.
Yeah.
Are you the applicant?
No, I'm not. I think the applicant was at the building with me and he's going home to get on Zoom.
Okay, are you a neighbor?
No, I'm actually on here for something different. Than
Oh,
the,
okay.
yeah, and I think he was in the parking lot with me and he found out it was on Zoom and then I come home, but he lives where, on the Colony or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably
Oh,
trying.
wait, he's coming in now.
Okay, alrighty, bye.
Honey, did you say you saw the approval?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a thing in there
Wanna
that said
say-
that they did give it to him. And there was supposed to be a correspondence with that. But I didn't get the correspondence of the HOA.
I didn't either, so.
Please see attached approval letter. Oh, there it is. It's on the back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's on the back of
It's
one
on
of
the
them.
back. It's two-sided. On the back of the.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep. Ta-da!
Look at there, Batman.
Perfect.
I,
Very
again, I
good.
just think that this street, this area probably could have a separate ordinance written to save them the time and
Well, sure.
the money from coming in front of us.
But I'd like to see the HOA that goes along with that so we can put that in the ordinance.
Ryan, do you want to allow the applicant to introduce himself?
Yes, we should let him talk. Is he online?
Yep, he just popped on.
I see
Is the
him.
applicant for Colony online?
Yeah, he is.
He's probably got
Patrick?
hit on
Can I
mute.
hear him?
I see him. I
Oh,
see
there
he's
you go.
waving.
Can't
There's-
hear?
And I can't, my sound isn't working properly.
Okay.
Bummer. You have a cell phone? You could join the Zoom on a cell phone.
You have to download the app, though.
Do we have any questions for him anyways? You guys?
Actually, no.
Not really.
No,
Dennis? I mean,
this is a pretty no-brainer to me.
I
But
think so too.
yeah, okay. So, I mean, if he can get his sound on, that's fine, but, again, I think,
Well, I'd like to talk to somebody from the HOA and have them bring it up to the building department so we can look at it and maybe add that in at the next meeting. Have a have a look at it.
so what I'll do is I'll contact Tom Perkowski. Obviously, he does a lot of work down that street and is very, very familiar with all of it. So I'll have him, break the ice and get that done.
Great, Brian, that's perfect.
Because that
Good
way,
That
I
is very
just can't
typical.
stand people wasting their time and money, if they don't need to. That's it. It's no big deal.
Sure. No,
Right.
I get that totally. I'm with it.
And I get it to blanket, let it up to us in certain circumstances, but I don't see where we could ever fail or deny one down there when there's, all different sizes, shapes, and heights
Old and new.
on that road.
yeah, this is small
I mean-
relative to some of the things that we've seen.
Oh, yeah, this is not that bad.
I mean, look at the one next to it. That shouldn't be really built.
Oh, yeah, that's 3-story. Yeah.
Right.
So Dennis, was that your motion?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing it again. All right, I have to keep talking.
Yes.
Your motion, state
All
your
right.
motion.
I say that that based on what we learned last month, how the deeds were all written and how these things were all allowed, that the zoning 126 really doesn't apply to them, as we've been basically approving every boathouse in that entire area because of
As their association approves it.
of that exactly on those bases. So, I as far as I can't go through the 4 steps because it really doesn't even, none of those things even apply. So the practical difficulty, all this, they actually don't even have any bearing on this. So I would say we should just approve it on the basis of what has been allowed and what is in the deeds of the property. And like Harold said, that we should get the HOA involved and get this thing resolved so they're not in front of us any longer.
Is
Right, I'm good with that.
Is this setting a precedent for us? Because every time someone comes from some other area, we say we just.
Well, it's just going to be from that. It's just going to be from.
Dennis, let me finish, please.
Oh.
We always say we treat each one as an individual. So now is this setting precedent for this area only? Shouldn't that be stated somewhere other than just their deed with their HOA?
Until
that-
the
that-
planning changes the ordinance, we can't, it's gonna come in front of us, no matter what, Joanne.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I hope that they look at these meetings and would make a change. But again, if one comes next month and there's no change in the ordinance, it's gonna come in front of us again. Unfortunately, we would never be able to, in a sense, deny something that's reasonable. There's the key word, reasonable, to what other has been built.
Right.
Because it just sets us up failure for a lawsuit. And we have allowed others to do for many, many years there. I think their HOA is tougher than our laws or our ordinances. So I think they're going to allow something that's, not, I don't know, out of
Well, it's
character.
like, it's like the Perch Point thing when they do the ordinances for the Perch Point. That's a separate thing. You can do the same thing for the Colony Park Association. That is where you can get it separate from everybody else.
And Harold, why, let that be your job as a representative on the ZBA for planning.
Well, yeah, I've had this in my hand and I'm going to take it over there to the planning commission and show them that. But I would like a copy of the HOA so I don't go empty handed. And so they know what I'm talking about, because obviously nobody in the planning commission has ever seen anything from the Colony Park Association.
Right.
Or something would have been written in or changed at the time when we were rewriting this ordinance.
Well, I do believe our ordinances overrule anyone else's ordinance, or, you know what I mean?
Well, they do, but if they're going to keep coming in conflict, and here we are again with it.
Yep.
Why should we put this man through this? If they're allowing it in the Park Association, why should he, like you, Brian, I believe you, why should he be here?
It would be very hard to deny him when there's one right next door being built twice as big.
I know.
And never came across us as well.
Right.
The boathouse never came across us.
Right.
House
Exactly.
did. The setbacks did, but
Yeah.
the boathouse never came across us.
Right.
Did anybody second Dennis's motion?
I will.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to grant this variance. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Harold Bain,
Yes.
Dennis Szymanski,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Bonnie McInerney Slater, yes. Dennis Treppa, or Brian Treppa.
Yes.
Dennis Treppa.
All right.
So, motion is granted. So if the guy from Colony, I'm sorry I never caught your name, but 7903 from Colony, if you can hear me.
Patrick.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so you're all set. Go talk to Gary on Monday morning, okay?
Okay, I
Or
appreciate
call
it,
Cindy
everyone.
and set up an appointment.
Okay, just so you know real quick too, I didn't mean to be late to anything. I was never informed it was a Zoom meeting, so I was actually at the Township Hall looking for you guys. And then I noticed on the glass minutes for the meeting that it was a Zoom. So then I raced home and tried to log in. Otherwise, I would have never
Gotcha.
been late.
I'm glad you're in. But
Yeah, you're
Thank you for your
good.
time. Thank you for your approval. You all have a good evening.
thanks, you
You
too.
too.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
You good, Bonnie?
Yep.
Okay. There's no unfinished business. Report from the planning commission.
Okay, we had one on 1900 South Channel Drive was a special land use approval for an accessory dwelling to expand it to like an apartment type of deal. And that was one of the things that we had, but that didn't take too long. But the Cordis development of the site condos, that took up most of the meeting, which was almost an hour and a half. And he ended up getting approval with saving most of the trees on the property, because the way it was set up is that he had like other units, like 11 pieces of property, 9, 10, yeah, 11 pieces, because he's got partial C, B, and A, and unit
Where is
one.
this? I'm sorry, where was this at? You're talking
This is
about?
on High Road and Stone Road, right on the corner. And that was pretty much the whole meeting, was where the drainage was gonna be, how they were gonna pitch it away, the driveways, and most of what was gonna be saved in the trees. And
Is that going to be individual condos? or
yes,
is
they're
that-
gonna be individual site condos with an HOA on it, and then he's got 2 parcels for later on for future use, which is parcel B and parcel C. But most of the condos are gonna be on High Road with 2 on Stone. And it's 17 acres, and it's
How
that,
many units?
looks like 9, 10, 11 total. And it's gonna be like detached, 2 stories, ranches, and that was pretty much it.
Individual septic fields?
Individual septic fields, individual water services. And that's where the problem came in, because they were talking about the septic fields, the size of the septic fields for the property, and how much he was gonna serve, because he wants to sell treed lots. But it's pretty much, he's gotta take out quite a few trees, because he's got rear yard drainage across the whole thing to come right to the front of the ditch, because it's storm sewers. And that's what was going on. That was the big discussion of how much he's gonna destroy. But it got approved, and I think it's gonna be a great development for High Road and Stone Road.
I can throw a stone and hit it.
You're right there then.
Yep.
On the high side, Brian?
I'm the highest on
But that was it. That was pretty much the whole meeting, was that Cordis development.
Good.
It's good to
Okay.
see new construction.
All right. Any other correspondence from any of us?
Well, what I want to say something is I'm going to bring this up at the next planning commission about the boathouses, but nobody's seen an HOA from the colony before, and this is the first I'm ever hearing of it. So I really would like to see it and see what it says and what pertains to this.
I tried to find one last time, and I asked people if there was a recorded document, because typically it's approved by the township. Like you
Right.
guys have to approve that HOA. Once
Right.
it gets recorded, it becomes the ordinance. But nobody
Right.
can find it because it's so old. And that's when Tom, what's his face? Yeah. And he came and he's like, yep, it's in place, and he verified all the stuff, but we never did see a copy of it.
No, and that's why I'd like to see
I
a
agree.
hard copy of it, so we know what
Right.
we're talking about.
I'm sure there is one. No
I'll
doubt.
reach out to Tom and hopefully he can, steer whoever's the president of the HOA or whatever to
Well,
To
the
make the next-
president did sign it.
Yep, they all signed it.
find it. Okay. All right. So is there anyone else on here for public comments? The lady that was on earlier, is she still on?
Yeah. Carol, did you have something you wanted to bring up?
Well, I was going to talk about the planning commission with the Pearl Beach focus area. I didn't know if they were going to be talking about the zoning. They want to put it as mixed use. It was single residency, now it's multiple residency, but in the master plan, they're talking about putting our area as mixed use. And I want to understand exactly what the mixed use would be if they put it into the master plan.
All right, ma'am, I'll stop you short on this one. Harold, when is your next meeting?
I think it's the 24th,
The 23rd, I believe.
23rd, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's the question that you'll have to bring up in front of the board of the planning commission, because the ZBA doesn't handle any of that situations. So we would not have any information for you at this time. Is that
Could I
okay?
get your address for the record real quick, though?
6039 Point Trimble Road.
Okay, thank you.
And Harold, yours is on Zoom, and I'm
Yes,
Assuming do
Yeah.
7 o'clock, same time?
yes, 7 o'clock, same time. It's on Zoom.
Okay.
I would like to try and get that into a meeting in person. All the meetings, the
Well,
planning.
we'd like to too, trust me.
I know, I know.
We
Okay,
will eventually. All right, thank you for your comment. Any
Okay,
other public comments? None, closing public comments. Anything else, guys?
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hey, Harold, when are you gonna open that store?
Well, I just got the health department approval, so we're working on it. Where'd you go, Dennis?
Where's it at?
Oh, it's on the island. It's the old hardware store.
Oh, I saw it today.